Welcome everyone to AppleInsider. We have been testing out the latest 27-inch iMac 2020, which now comes with two screen options. You can get your normal gloss display, or for the first time, you can get a new nano-textured option, rather than the typical covering or finish that goes over your glass display. The glass is actually etched. It is etched in with lasers to create a non-reflective finish to the otherwise glossy surface. This isn't the first time we've seen Apple's nano-etched glass option. It is also an option on the Pro Display XDR. Here's Apple's little diagram of what it means. Essentially, it's just scattering the light, diffusing the light, reducing how much it is reflecting back at you. And honestly, it makes a huge difference. Some of the shots you can't tell, but here, with the displays off, you can easily see how much of a difference there is. The one on the left has that matte finish, and the one on the right is clearly glossy. Hi, you can see me right there. Apple covers the entire glass panel with that nano-etched surface. The only part that is not matte finished is up at the top, which is that new 1080p camera. That new FaceTime camera has a glossy finish just around it, which makes sense because you don't want to be messing up the lens. You don't want a matte finish on the lens of your camera. You want that thing to stay very clear. So there is a clear coating, clear surface right in front of that front-facing camera, but otherwise you have a matte surface all around, and it gives you a good contrast right here on the same display of what that lens looks like with the gloss surface versus the rest of the display. Again, you can see where you'd really be seeing some harsh light, but it's just being completely diffused by the nano-etched surface. Now there are drawbacks to this. Notably, it's not as sharp. Here, if you look at this screenshot and compare it to this shot here, it is much clearer on the glossy screen than the etched screen. It's not nearly as bad as if you put an actual just screen protector over that made it, matte, but it is definitely noticeable by just a little bit. Personally, I don't mind it. It makes just a huge difference for me, especially in my studio with so many lights. Look at this high intensity flashlight. It really shows off how much this is glossy and reflective, and we go to our matte display version and it's very subtle. It's still there. You can definitely still see it. We're not pretending that you can't see that flashlight aimed to the screen, but it's not nearly as intense or bright or distracting as it is on the glossy version. Another downside to that nano-etched surface, because it is kind of fragile, Apple recommends only cleaning it with its own cleaning cloth. Of course, one is included in the box, and you can always order another one from Apple, and it's almost like a suede-like material. It feels it is very soft. It is very, I don't even know really how to describe it. It is just incredibly soft. It's not quite microfiber. It really feels almost like a very soft suede. And it's two layers when the edges are held together, and you can just use this to buff out any fingerprints or anything else that you get on your nano-textured glass surface. Honestly, it seems a little bit ridiculous that the only way that you can clean this display is by using an Apple polishing cloth. It seems absurd, and I'm glad you can get replacement ones through Apple, but we hate that that is an option that you have to have at all. Why can't you just wipe it clean with anything else? But really, we're not about to try it because it is a $500 add-on. Here's another good test where you can see the difference between the two displays. It isn't nearly as impactful in real life either. It's definitely looked more substantial here on our computer screens or here on the video as we brightened up the brightness so you can see it a little bit more, but it really is diffused quite well on the nano-textured surface versus the glossy one. And here's something else. Notice we're just in my room, in the studio, and you can see the shelf and the TV actually reflected in that glossy one. So while a bright light like a flashlight is very intense, something like this, just things in the background, are easily reflected on my normal iMac, but they aren't reflected at all on my nano-textured option. I know $500 is no small sum to upgrade to this nano-textured surface, but honestly, after using it, especially in my studio where I've got a lot of stuff going on, I can't go back. It is just so much nicer to use. I love the finish on it. I really wish Apple would bring this to its portable lineup as well. I'd love to see this on my MacBook Pro. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know over on Twitter at Andrew_OSU and grab an iMac down below.